GM. GM. So, daily levels, Saturday, 24th of Feb. Not a whole lot to say today other than, Bitcoin's keeps holding above not just 50K as we crack open a Mango Passion Celsius. GM. Bitcoin is coming down into a previous support level, kind of a local low. I think a lot of people are waiting to see it sweep down towards 50 or lose 50 or break 50. The longer it takes to do that, the more I expect it not to do that. Just in general, that's usually the way it goes, right? And, this level here was quite obvious, and so I already had it marked. A very obvious level here. I talked about it yesterday. And so I talked about if this level here gets hit, watch for a reversal. And we got that. Only just barely, but we got it, right? We got it here at the end of Friday's session, touched down below it, reversed back inside. So I would say what needs to happen now is pretty much this. It doesn't have to go in a straight line up, but if it just climbs back into range and starts to consolidate and compress and chop, there's a very, very good chance that 50K round number is going to get front ran and that we will just not get to 50K. For that, I would say there probably needs to be at least one more attempt. So if I was looking at this now, if we came up and down and sideways and up, I would think there would be another attempt to try and break it. And if that one holds, that's when it will just build up and break out, right? So you've got one push, 2, 3. I think we try and recover it. And then as people get too long, pushes back again. And if that holds, then I think this whole thing is just a strong base. But regardless, the best approach and the approach I've taken is just to trade it on spot. I'm long spot, just chilling long, waiting for opportunities for any potential extra long setups on top. But outside of that, I think the best play is just to keep in spot, stay long, and see where we go from there. Now, that's Bitcoin. Not a whole lot else to say. ETH. Holding up here. You can see. I talked about this the other day. I don't know if it was yesterday, before. It's like everyone wants a really deep pullback, but when people are sidelined, as many, many people are, I don't think it's anything crazy to say that most people miss this move. The pullback probably won't be very deep, and it'll make people scramble to kind of get on board a little bit higher, or take extra risks that they don't need. And I wouldn't be surprised if ETH goes higher with no significant pullback. But for me, the daily bands are what I'm looking at first and foremost. Is it holding the daily bands? Is that continuing to be the move? And from there, where are we seeing price go? So yeah, for ETH from that perspective, looks fine. Total 3 as a whole, really strong. So when we moved up here the other day, we had those couple of attempts to sell off. They had nice long wicks on the dailies that showed support. We've then held and held and held. It looks like the same as it did over here, right, where it broke out. Held, then we had a big flush. That could still happen. However, I think this is more likely to just be building a new support level, which probably could have a wick down as low as here, but probably just building up new support before a further push higher. And to me, that would stay within this box here. So anything down to maybe the 50. But that red path I've drawn is pretty much what it's following so far. So that's the first thing I'm watching. If total 3 kind of lowers volatility and starts to compress near the highs, I wouldn't be surprised if it continues and holds. In terms of a shakeout, I mean, we could get one, but it's not long since we had that exact thing happen. And it might just be time for the market to grind a bit higher before some kind of correction or sideways action. Now, across the market, there's been a bunch of random things popping off. The most notable will be Uniswap. So Uniswap pumped hard following the squiggle path without the dip, though. Thought there might be a dip first, but just straight up. So this is based on a governance proposal, right? So it's not passed, but there's a proposal for them to turn on a fee to have a fee switch mechanism where essentially people who hold the Uni token will get to share in some of the revenue from Uniswap, the exchange, which is super valuable because Uniswap's the biggest exchange by far. I mean, it's not even close when you look at it, right? So go to token terminal. Cumulative fees in the last few days. Ethereum. Okay, let's look at apps. Where's the apps? TVL, fees, price to fees ratio, revenue. Where the hell's the... How do I find Uniswap? Just themselves. All right, here we go. Dexes. There we go. Top 25 projects based on daily cumulative fees in the past 180 days. It is not even close. But Uniswap is smashing it with $305 million in fees in the last 180 days, last 6 months. So Uniswap's a very profitable protocol, but until now, and if you've watched any of the altcoin request streams, anytime someone requests Uniswap, I say the same thing: amazing product, amazing project, horrendous token, because up until now and still now, the token has no value. The Uni token, right? But this proposal would change that. Now, it's just a proposal, so if you want to do some digging, actually dig down into what the proposal is, when it was made, right? It was made yesterday, or at least pushed through yesterday, and when it's being voted on, and when is the deadline. Because it has to get put through, and there's no guarantee it will get put through. And, if they keep it going, and there's a bit of hype, and they're going to go from a proposal, and then reject the proposal, there we go. There was the fucking, right? The echo bubble bounce. So don't be surprised if the Uniswap team cocks the whole market yet again, because they're essentially just greedy as fuck and always have been. And yeah, so as for the momentum, you could play the momentum now, but I would say in terms of that initial move, I would imagine a lot of it's priced in, right? Like it basically doubled overnight. And how much of it is, like, how much room is there left to run in the move? I think this now becomes a case now of people saying, is it real? Right? Is it going to happen? You're probably going to see some FUD coming next saying, oh, the proposal won't pass, or, Uniswap won't do it, they won't turn it on. I don't know. Ride the momentum. But me personally, if I had to guess, I would say they don't vote it through. That's just a guess based on the past of the team and the major stakeholders. I don't know the token distribution though. If it's a governance proposal, then the Uniswap token holders will get to vote on it. And obviously, who wouldn't vote for yes? Problem is, the team wouldn't vote for yes, because the team already get all the money through their own private equity in the company of Uniswap Labs. So it depends on how much of the token ownership is in the hands of regular users or people who want the fee mechanism, versus how much of the token is being held by the Uniswap's team or some VCs or backers or investors, whatever. Right, so that's one thing to look at. So if you want to do a dive into it, I would deep dive down onto that. And that's about it. That's it. Daily levels, GM. See you later on the live stream, 5 p.m. UTC. We'll do Ask Michael. And in trade of the day now, I'll look through some of the other exchange tokens, because that's somewhere you might find some low time frame momentum trades this weekend. DYDX, I've got a quick day trade long I took this morning. I'll talk about that, and then we'll look at what else can be found and why in trade of the day. So that's it. GM.